Okay, okay. Hello, everybody. Wow, there's a lot to talk about tonight, including Monday Night Raw. Cause honestly, this Raw was really bad. Out of maybe two or three things, a lot of this show was shit tonight in Philadelphia. But it's a lot of information to go over into Monday Night Raw tonight. First off, just welcome everybody. Though, Because we're gonna talk a lot about things tonight. From a lot of bullshit on this show to I'm gonna tell about my thoughts on this whole Hall of Fame thing. I know there's been a lot of other information about multiple other things today, which I'm gonna talk briefly on too, probably at the beginning of this video, and speak on that. It's a lot of things to go over tonight, like several things to go over. Okay, people, but we are gonna kick off the show right here, Monday Night Raw, Philadelphia. One thing I do want to say. Before I go into the show, I will say condolences to Jungle Boy. If you know who that is, he is in AEW. He is the son of Luke Perry, who unfortunately died today at the age of 52 due to a massive stroke. Listen, I will say this. I didn't grow up watching any 90210. I will say I've seen the guy on multiple shows like The Simpsons and Family Guy and Johnny Bravo, and I know he was there, supporting his son in wrestling. Like I said, I don't know his career. I didn't really grow up, but I know what he has done, and I think, like I said, a lot of people know his son because, like I said, he's been wrestling as Jungle Boy right now, and he signed to AEW and stuff. So. I will say condolences to him. I will say it's a real bad day. It looks like we lost a lot of people today. I feel like I've been reading around in the news. But, RIP to Luke Perry. Next thing I wanted to say also before moving on to the Monday Night Raw review, I do want to say, and I'm trying to wait till everything, I don't know. I know these have just been rumors and everything that's been going around. But I don't know if all this is true, and that's what saying this story. But to what I've read today, the reason why Arn Anderson was fired from WWE because he let Alicia Fox at a live event on Raw go out there drunk and intoxicated, and that he still let her go out there and wrestle, and that I believe she's taking a leave of absence right now. I don't know if she's in rehab or not, but Alicia Fox hasn't been really seen around. I know people have been putting up reports about AWOL. I don't know all the facts and if this is true or not about, Anderson being fired. Because at first I heard it was a shouting match between him and McMahon. But now I heard that he let her go out, drunk. And I will say this about both of them if this story is true, though. Now, listen, this company, let me just say one thing about WWE. WWE knows who they want to fire and know who they want to keep, okay? And they make some very odd choices because I know a lot of people have been saying some of them have been saying today, okay, if they released Arn Anderson, they all released Alicia Fox as well. Well, come on, then again, wasn't Uso intoxicated or whatever, drunk, and he tried to fight the cops and he's still here, so... WWE likes to know who they fire and want to hire, okay? Now, I will say one thing... because I don't know if the fans can even tell if she was drunk or not, but I guess word got to McMahon. They said McMahon was pissed and he fired Arn Anderson. Now, I will say this. If Arn Anderson knew she was drunk, as reports are saying, and you still let her go out there and you as an agent producer did that, okay, you would be in some big trouble, and then I probably would have, I kind of understand the release then. If he let her go out there and she was drunk. Now should they have fired Alicia Fox as well if this is true? Yeah, because what are you coming out there drinking to begin with before going out there to wrestle a match? But I don't know. That girl's been over in this company for over 10 years now, so I know she is not really that great of a wrestler in general, but the fact that she still has a job to this day really does amaze me. I will say that. She must be doing something right. She's got to be doing something right to hold a job this long in WWE for over 10 years, okay? And especially if they want to still put her in rehab and still keep her, but take out Arn Anderson, who is a legend and has been in the company since 2001. I don't know. Like I said before, WWE is very picky, choosy who they want to hire and fire. I'll say if that story is true, though, it is pretty messed up, because will anything really happen to Fox? Yeah, they probably may do something to her in the back, or probably punish or something, but I don't really think she's gonna get fired though, because if that was the case, we probably would have heard her with the other releases that happened. So it's an odd story, but then again, I feel like Arn Anderson will end up in AEW anyways. But it's a really messed up story when you think about why he was even fired. But before I just kind of getting those two things out of the way, I want to speak on moving into the Monday Night Raw review right now with a lot of this shit. What do we have to go tonight? Roman Reigns, who came out. It was a big Roman chant, but with his big comeback and everything in Philly. And he says, we take our yard back. And, he talked about the future of what was going to go on. And that, there's a man standing in the way of what he wants. And that is Seth Rollins, which the first thing in my mind is that, let me guess, you want his title shot at WrestleMania to face Brock for the 1 millionth time. Or if it's the 6th time, I believe. And, Rollins came out and, happy to see Roman. And said last week that was one of the biggest highlights of, his own life. And that, it made him feel like he could do anything. And that he's an inspiration and motivation to, help him take out Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. But Rollins says he would bring back the title. Rollins said he would bring back the title every week. But he says he knows where Roman's head is at. And you had to vacate your title. You never lost a championship. And that Roman deserves a championship, as Seth said. And, he would give it to him. And that's what I kind of think what was going on. Because, Reigns, pretty much said that he thought Seth knew everything, but Rollins was wrong. Because I actually thought that, Reigns was about to ask for a title shot. But Reigns pretty much, while he was away, he just kind of thought what was going on. And he said he wished him luck against his match with Lesnar, but this is what Roman wants. So he wants to put the band back together one last time. He wants to bring the Shield back. But Rollins said, him and Ambrose aren't on the same page. And, since the whole announcement of the leukemia returning. But Reigns said, this reunion matters, that the fans want it. And I'm going to say something about this once I get through the whole segment. But Reigns said, one last time, because life is short. We're brothers, and we may not be around anymore again to do this. So we got to do this one more time. And, it's funny when I'm talking about the Shield reforming together. And, when you think about Dean Ambrose, let me finish the segment, though. But, since I said we want to put this behind us, let's do the Shield. Let's do it one more time. And pretty much Seth said he was in. You want it one more time, I'm going to do it for you. So then they needed Dean Ambrose that came out, who had a microphone and just kind of kept walking back and forth. But before he could speak, Elias hits him in the back with a guitar. Then as, Rollins and Reigns come to help him up after that. As, Ambrose pretty much pushed both of them away and pretty much went off then. They then went to McIntyre. I'm calling them the Corbin Coalition now. Corbin, McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley, and even Lio Rush, talking about the Shield and everything, and that they were going to take him out. But tonight they were going to take out Strowman, Finn Balor, and Kurt Angle tonight. And that, Lashley said he will have his Intercontinental Champion again. I'm thinking about this Shield thing, and first off, it's kind of funny they want to reform the Shield again, and even though this is the same Dean Ambrose that, and my friend told me this tonight on Snapchat, wait, the same Dean Ambrose that, that said that Roman had the cancer coming when, and I'm going to read the message because he sent this to me, and it made sense because you got to go back to attention to detail, folks, because WWE forgets their own logic and things. But when Dean Ambrose was healed, he said the same guy who said Roman deserved to get cancer because of what they did in the Shield. That is true. Ambrose did say that. But I feel like how many Shield things are we going to keep seeing? And I guess I can understand this one just because Roman is back, from the whole leukemia thing in remission. But I've said this before about the Shield. I feel like every time something happens to one of these guys. It's like when they reform it, some freak accident happens, and then one of them goes away for a while. But as soon as one of them come back, as soon as they come back, it's boom, reform the Shield, reform the Shield, reform the Shield. And I feel like this is for the 4th, 5th, 6th time. When they say the final time, I'll believe it when I see it. Now, I know Roman said that, because of, life is short and we got to do it one more time. We may not do this. The only reason why I do believe they're doing this because we know Dean Ambrose is most likely on his way out the door after WrestleMania. So they have to do it one more time. And we all know it's going to be a fast lane. But it's almost like we have to do it one more time if Dean is really on his way out the door. I do know that there have been rumors that, Reigns has been trying to convince Dean to stay in WWE, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not, because I've heard something about that today. Good luck to him if he can get Dean to stay, but I'm looking at this right now. This could be the final time the Shield will wrestle together if Dean is on his way out after WrestleMania. So I really do believe that's why they are reforming the Shield again. Do I really want to see the Shield come back together again? Not really, because we've seen it 4 or 5 different times, but it just keeps getting messed up due to injury or some freak accident. That's the only reason why. It's since Roman is back, boom, immediately reform the Shield. So there you go. We've done it several times, but I do believe this time now it's because Ambrose is on his way out the door, okay? He's on his way out the door, if true. But moving on from that, the Corbin coalition there, McIntyre, Corbin, and Lashley versus Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, and Kurt Angle, which I just now believe that Kurt Angle is just part of the main roster to me at this point. And what do I have to say about this match? It wasn't bad, but I feel like I saw this like a week or two ago. And, it's weird. Wasn't Braun Strowman on the hunt for these guys to begin with? And where was Finn Balor and Kurt Angle the first time when he got the shit kicked out of him at Elimination Chamber? All I can really say, the highlight of this was when Strowman pretty much killed Leo Rush, throwing him, crashing through him in the timekeeper's area, which protects him from getting pinned. But Lashley pretty much speared Finn Balor for the win then, and then they start beating up Kurt Angle and Finn Balor, which I thought this was kind of funny. If you go back to it, when they're about to hit the steel steps, on Kurt Angle, right? And Bobby Lashley, it is like, I think he didn't know what was going on. It's almost like Corbin had to instruct him to do this. He walks over to McIntyre thinking, I guess, he didn't know what to do because Corbin had the steel steps up. McIntyre's holding him. Bobby Lashley's walking back and forth. And I guess he thought at one point he wasn't supposed to help Drew McIntyre hold Kurt Angle to throw him in there. He thought he was going to go get the steel steps himself and then, help Corbin hit Kurt Angle with it, and you get to see Bobby Lashley walk back and forth, and you could tell he did not know what he was doing right there. You could really tell he just kind of got confused at one point, like, okay, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? And it just looked like a very odd, kind of odd right there. But they just gotta, make the Corbin coalition there look strong there, folks. So why I don't know. But then again, let's pin the Intercontinental Champion again, okay, and protect Strowman for some reason. I'm gonna get you to that tag match later on. They had Charlie Caruso interview Heavy Machineries, talking about how a lot of the Raw roster teams have been talking about Heavy Machinery, calling Otis fat and making fun of his weight and stuff from the B team and Hawkins and Ryder and the Ascension. And they said, we're tired of these NXT call-ups getting more opportunities than us, even though most of the entire locker room was full of jobbers in that tag division. And Otis pretty much says that my feelings were hurt. And Tucky there pretty much says that, we're gonna do this for Otis. We're gonna show them what happens when you hurt Otis's feelings, which he wasn't. Otis wasn't actually silly there for a second. He actually said, my feelings are hurt. Natalya went against Ruby Riott. I don't really care, to be honest. Natalya won, roll up. I don't understand why Ruby Riott takes more pinfalls. And dude, the Riott Squad just lose all the time. I feel like they're enhancement talent at this point. Ruby Riott's good, but they keep burying this girl. The other two, they're just there to take losses, okay? Riott Squad, I don't even know what to say about them at this point. Next thing you know, they got Grandpa Simpson, Lacey Evans, or should I say what do they call her tonight? The sassy Southern Belle. Now that she has an intro now. She has an intro. Grandpa Simpson Lacey Evans has an intro now. The sassy Southern Belle. That's what we're going with now, folks. The sassy Southern Belle. Okay. There you go. I don't know which. What was it? It's like, who's Lacey Evans gonna wrestle? This will happen on SmackDown tomorrow night. Watch it. It'll happen on there. It's gonna happen. Just watch. And people are already rumoring that it's gonna be Evans versus Asuka. WrestleMania to what I heard. But then again, I already heard about reports about Asuka tonight. She may be injured. She was injured at a live event due to Mandy Rose dropping her on her head. Hopefully Asuka is okay. That's just what I've read tonight. But, hopefully it's not too bad and she can still go. Next thing after that, other than Grandpa Simpson, I guess they brought two people from Saturday Night Live to help host the show, the Weekend Update. And what are they? Michael Shea, who has been on here before, and Colin Jost, which they were talking about Philly, but then Josh put on a New York Mets hat, I believe, saying New York City because they're correspondents for WrestleMania, both of them. So they're supposed to be part of this. Why? I don't know why. And Stephanie pretty much said, that the superstars can be aggressive because of the celebrities that are there. And I guess Shay had to, watch Colin there throughout the entire night. Next thing you know, Triple H. This is probably one of the better things on this show. One of the more things I can say that was actually great throughout tonight was first they played a video from Batista off of Instagram saying, I don't have any other obligations, but I don't want to be on Raw. I don't like Philly. I play by my own rules, and we're going to play by my game until the game is over. But Triple H came out then talking about Ric Flair, and not the wrestler Ric Flair. He wanted to talk about Richard Flair, okay? Ric Flair's real name. And, talk about that, that why would Batista come out and attack a 70-year-old man on his birthday, and a legend like Ric Flair, because Triple H wanted to come out and celebrate Ric Flair's birthday. You can go on for an hour of it, and then Triple H is trying to cry it in, and this is actually where it gets real right here, because this is real shit that happened. He's been with Ric Flair through the best of times and the worst of times, of riding the roads with him, and that Rick was at his wedding and Triple H was at he could not make all of Rick's weddings, which I believe that story 100%, because Ric Flair has been married several times up to date right now, because, this is Rick, and, he's got multiple women, so he gets married several times, and, that's why I said at one point in the past that this guy owes a lot of alimony checks. If you don't believe me, the dude's got a lot of kids, folks. Look, go count how many ex-wives he has. Trust me. And, which they were complicated to get to. And, he talked about the worst times when he was there, when Rick had to bury his son, and that when Ric Flair which he almost died a couple of years ago, when he was in a medically induced coma, but someone still made it out. Triple H was still trying to cry, which I felt like the tears didn't look that, I don't know. Like, when he tried to do the crying thing, I thought it was a little bit much. I know he was trying to get emotional with it, which was a really great promo too, but the crying thing, doing the fake tears, didn't really work out there. And he talked about Batista. You want to attack him on his birthday, and he was going to call him a piece of shit, but he didn't say it. But he says, Dave, you wanted my attention. Well, now you know why, because you cried all online for the past 2 years now that you wanted a match with me, but you left WWE. You attack a 70-year-old man when you come back now. And I get injured back in November, but now I'm okay. So, that makes you think you can come back now to come for me now, okay? Because that's your big dream in front of all these people you want. You wanted this match. You got to put yourself over. And then you want to get on Instagram saying, I don't really care. I don't want to be in Philly. Philly sucks. Oh, yeah, cheap. Yeah, how original, Dave, as, Triple H said. Well, now, I'll come to your freaking house, okay? I'll invite you to mine. Does that work for you? Because now things about to get real. There's no character talking or anything. And that, have some balls and show up then if you want to see what's going down, okay? This is not a game. We're not selling anything out here. We're not characters. This name isn't something from Marquee. He says, You want to be the man, come after me. Stand up and tell me what you got to say. Because now you have my attention, Dave. So a very great promo from Triple H, which, made it more real using, real life stuff. Because a lot of this stuff is true to what Triple H has said. That Batista has wanted a match with Triple H for the past few years. And, we know Batista was screwed out of his last run the last time he was in WWE. Which, someone kind of brought up to me that why does Batista want this match even though he's beat Triple H several times in the past? But wouldn't it be the other way with Triple H being heel? But this time Triple H is facing this feud because now I guess it's like Triple H has to beat him this time since he never beat Batista, even though Batista's beating him. So listen, heel Batista's great, okay? Heel Batista is awesome, and next week they're gonna have a face-off and everything. So get ready for that. And they're trying to make this personal. So make it personal and everything, and they'll be there next week. So I did like his promo though, Triple H. It was great, other than the crying part of it, trying to make it more emotional. Everything about the promo I thought was great, and it brought a lot of realism to it, which was actually true shit. All the stuff he said was true. Stephanie McMahon was in the back talking about, I guess, the title, Ronda Rousey laying it down last week. And now that, since she did that, all the charges against Becky Lynch are gone. There's no 60-day suspension. And that both of these two, Becky has to sign a hold harmless agreement to face Charlotte for the title at Fastlane. And which that didn't make sense to me at first. Because they said, if Ronda's not going to be in this or anything. Here's what I'm thinking right now. You're going to take the title from Ronda and vacate it, right? And then you're going to make it a one-on-one with these two. Which I still kind of find it odd that we have two SmackDown women fight for a Raw Championship. If that was going to be, which the match is still happening, which we're going to get to that part later on in the ending. But when I'm hearing this later in the night, early in the night with, okay, so two SmackDown women are going to fight for a Raw Championship. I'm like, okay, and if Ronda walked out of it, so these two are going to face each other, and Becky has to sign something, so, both of them don't hurt each other too bad, a whole harmless agreement and stuff. So I was like, why are you trying to dance circles around this? This doesn't make sense. Like, we're going to crown a new champion now, but we're not going to crown a new champion in WrestleMania. So I thought that was really strange. Like, two SmackDown women are going to be fighting for a Raw title on a pay-per-view at Fastlane. And you forgot about the SmackDown women's title, which just became second tier, with Asuka making her pretty much like a second-rate player. Heavy Machinery went against in a gauntlet match against the Ascension, Hawkins and Ryder and the B Team. I don't really care, to be honest. They pretty much beat everybody, and they hit the caterpillar or the worm on Hawkins right there. So what do you want me to say from this? I guess this is supposed to get Heavy Machinery over, even though they just kept talking about his weight through the entire match and stuff. So I guess they're trying to build him, I guess. But it looked like the crowd did not care. Okay, they looked like they did not care until maybe a little in the end. But it's almost like who really gave a shit. That's what it looked like. Next, they talked about the Torrie Wilson being in the Hall of Fame. And, let me say this about Torrie Wilson being in the Hall of Fame. I know a lot of people have said this, because I heard this over the weekend about her going in. And all I could really think to myself is that, what has this woman really done in wrestling in general to why she's in the Hall of Fame? Because this is what I'm counting from this with her whole history, okay? And I know a lot of people have just been shitting on her pretty much through the entire day since they had the official announcement today. Like, why is she getting her own spot before China? Which is a really great question. Why is she getting her own spot before China could go in on her own? Which makes no sense. Because all I can really think from Torrie Wilson is this. WCW, she was in the Filthy Animals group with, Billy Kidman and them when, she really was with Billy Kidman. But then once WCW ended, she went to WWF, and the things I can really remember from her was Vince McMahon trying to fuck her all night, and until Linda McMahon show up. And then, she was on SmackDown for a very long time, which they all kept, they kept saying that, well, she was the most downloaded woman on the SmackDown website. And I remember they had her be Tajiri's manager or be her girlfriend at one point with Tajiri. And then, of course, if you want to go look at the whole, I'm trying to name everything though. She posed for Playboy. That thing with Sable, I believe they have at one point, because they both posed for Playboy. And I know they had that kiss in the ring and Taz almost fell on the ground. And then the whole angle with Dawn Marie and her, dad, the Al Wilson thing. And then, she went to that whole, I don't remember what pay-per-view it was. And I got this on DVD too, because I got the top 100 moments in SmackDown, because I guess she went to fuck Dawn Marie in that hotel room to help her dad or something. And then they had a match, and then her dad was supposedly dead, and then they fought at a funeral home. And don't get me wrong, Torrie did a lot of matches on SmackDown here and there, but I don't even think she was ever the champion. I don't think she was the champion at one point. And I remember her carrying a dog with her to the ring, and I'm just trying to go on everything I know from this throughout her entire career. And what do you want me to say? She had longevity. She didn't leave the company until, 2008 due to injury. Listen, I'll say this. That Torrie Wilson is no ring general, okay? But I will say she was competent in the ring. I'm not going to say she was the drizzling shits, which she was not good in general, but I've seen worse people wrestle than her. She was competent in the ring. Do I believe she belongs in the Hall of Fame? Hell no. Then again, this Hall of Fame is a joke to begin with, okay? Everyone knows that for years. Hell, go look at Honky Tonk Man shoots. I know he's going in it now, but go look at the shoots of what he said about the Hall of Fame. This is all for Vince, okay? This is Vince's club. This is Vince, who he believes wants to be in the Hall of Fame. That's why people have never taken this Hall of Fame seriously for years now. And there's been people in this Hall of Fame that never needed to be in there to begin with, or they just wait to put in people, after they die, okay? Like they die and then they put them in there, which you should have put them in before they were alive, okay? But the whole Torrie Wilson thing, I don't really think she needs to go. I don't hate Torrie Wilson or anything. I get it. She's hot, okay? Like, I've known that for years now. She's hot, okay? But did she really have that Hall of Fame worthy or wrestling career? Not really. Like I said, I think she was competent in the ring, but when you sit there and think about it, name me one great match Torrie Wilson has ever done in her entire time in the WWE, okay? Tell me one great match. I want you to sit there and tell me. All I remember was her doing a lot of tag matches, I think with John Cena or Rey Mysterio, or, like I said, do I think she was a vocal point in SmackDown? No, but they put her as a big thing on SmackDown because she was always on that brand on SmackDown, okay? So she was there, for a big part all the time. Dude, could they have put other women in this Hall of Fame? Like, I don't know, Victoria or Molly Holly, like everyone's been saying throughout the whole weekend? Hell yeah, they had better choices to put other women in the Hall of Fame. But for some reason, they chose Torrie Wilson to go in the Hall of Fame, okay? That's it makes no sense, because when I sat there, I was confused, like, okay, I don't mind Torrie Wilson, but it's like, what did she really do that big? And I just pretty much told you her whole history. WCW, a lot of the stuff she in was like very over-sexualized, and they knew that her being hot, they knew people would come to SmackDown, and that's why they liked her a lot, because she was hot, okay? That's pretty much. And I just named the angles, pretty much most of the infamous angles she was in with. The one with Dawn Marie, the Pose for Pay Playboy, Sable, WCW, stuff with Vince. That's really much I can say from this. That's all I really know, okay? So, do I think she needs to be in there? Nah, not really, but I guess WWE's just looking at this maybe from a longevity factor, because she was with the company for a very long time, and they made her like I said before, they made her to a big part of SmackDown. So, once again, like I said before, this is Vince's choice. This Hall of Fame, this is why nobody takes the Hall of Fame seriously to begin with when you're doing shit like this, okay? Like I said, I don't hate Torrie Wilson, but I don't think she really deserves it. But I've seen worse women in the ring than her, so I'm not gonna shit on her all the way. I'm not gonna shit on her all the way. So there you go. That's really, I can really say throughout this whole Torrie Wilson being in the Hall of Fame, because it's really set up a firestorm to what I've seen on the internet. I can tell you that right now. It has set up a very huge firestorm ever since she was announced in there. And I think Brutus Beefcake is supposed to be going in there too. I heard over the weekend. I know they didn't announce that tonight, but listen, I didn't grow up in the 80s. I didn't really watch him, but then again, I thought Brutus Beefcake was already in the Hall of Fame already. But I'm just now knowing this. If he isn't in, I guess they'll put him in now, which we'll probably find out by next week. But like I said, when I read that on Saturday, I just didn't really know what to think about it because, like I said before, I could put, you can name other women they could have been in there, but I've said it before. I've seen worse women than Torrie Wilson in the ring. Okay, so there you go. I just gave you my full thing on that, and I'm gonna move on from here. But that's my thoughts on her going into the Hall of Fame. Next, what the fuck else we had on here? We had Michael Shea and that Colin guy walk around as, you know, that dude's wearing a New York Mets hat, and they told him to take it off, and, you know, this is WrestleMania, and I guess he tried to say he knows what WWE is up to date. He talked about what the Bushwhackers and Coco Beware and The Rock, which are not really in this company more right now, and I should have talked about Heavy Machinery being the new Bushwhackers, but, you know, they're walking, and EC3, who just is spraying himself, the mute himself, and I wonder why EC3 is even on the main roster right now. And then Titus O'Neil walks up to him, and, you know, he wants a photo with Michael Shea and tells the other guy to, you know, just take the photo, and then he's going to get some cheesecake then. And his was weird to me. When you see these two guys talking from Saturday Night Live, if you look in the background, EC3 is standing like a real mute. He's still standing there with the spray bottle in his hand as the segment is still going on, folks. And then they have No Way Jose dance around him, and you know, I don't know. But I don't know. What was the point of this segment? Tell me, what was the point of this segment? I don't understand. Why are these two here? Because they're correspondents for WrestleMania? I don't know. I got no idea. Charlotte was here tonight. Pretty much said she was going to take out Becky. That, you know, woo and everything. That she's a one-legged competitor in an ass-kicking contest, and that she will become the champion at Fastlane. Rollins, we had Rollins and Roman talk to Dean throughout the night, saying, you know, are you with this and everything? That, you know, we're soulmates in wrestling or something, and that we should put the Shield together one more time. And Ambrose said no. And next thing you know, they had Elias pretty much shit on Philly, like Bryce Harper going to the city where his career will die, and Eagles fans, and that Philadelphia is horrible and his city is, you know, god awful, just shitting everything that has to do with Philadelphia and stuff. Dean Ambrose then went against Elias, which I swear Dean said, oh shit, at one point. He jumped up the top rope. Elias hit him with like almost like a V-trigger, and it hit the drift away. Ambrose was still in the ring, still laying there, which I'm surprised he even got a win since they keep beating the shit out of this guy every week. And, you know, Ambrose is still trying to get up and everything. Reigns and Rollins come out saying, you still with us? Are you going to do this and everything? Ambrose didn't want nothing to do. He walked out of the ring and went up the crowd. But next you know, Corbin, McIntyre, and Lashley came out saying that the Shield is broken and they will never come back. And, you know, leaving the scraps for our table right here, as McIntyre pretty much said, you know, we're going to take them out. And before they can even make it to Fastlane, they seriously start jumping Reigns and Seth Rollins. Dean comes out and helps them. The Shield pretty much clean house, and people chanted Shield. They put their fists together. Dean hesitated, but he put his fists out there, and once again, the Shield have been reformed, allegedly for one last time, but I don't think it's going to be the last time, since they keep saying the last time, okay? I don't think it's going to be the last time. I honestly don't believe that. But they're going to keep doing it. It's official. It's Sunday. The Shield versus the Corbin Coalition there. I'm still calling them Corbin, Lashley, and McIntyre. So, segment wasn't bad, but, you know, we got to reform the Shield, folks. We got to reform the Shield if Dean is on his way out the door. Next thing you know, I will say one thing. I'm actually surprised even Roman wrestling this Sunday in general already, but I think they're just going to have Dean and Seth do a lot of the work, and he'll just come in and hit some finishing moves for all I know, okay? Sasha went against Tamina. I don't really care. 50-50 booking. Bayley beats Nia Jax last week, so Tamina must win this week and beat Sasha. 50-50 booking. Title match this Sunday. I don't really care. They still have Michael Shea and them running around as he went to the bathroom until Strowman showed up. And, you know, it says it's in a prison because Josh Collins was right there just walking around. And, you know, Braun said, you're a funny guy. And Strowman pretty much took off his Mets hat and threw it to the ground. And the thing he said to Strowman was, is any of this stuff real? Which you don't never say that to anybody in wrestling, or wrestling fans calling wrestling fake. And so all I was really about to think was what Dr. D. David Schultz slapping John Stossel, because that's what that segment was about to make it feel like, once he called wrestling fake and Strowman picked him up and his agents tried to break it up and everything. Constance, he does. Michael Shea came back. He's dumb. Okay, he doesn't know everything. As Strowman said, "See you at WrestleMania." So, are we gonna see him at WrestleMania? Yeah. So I don't know where this is going, okay? And like I said, he's picking him up by the neck and everything, and he just kind of got down like everything was okay, all right? And because he pretty much questioned if wrestling was even faking that. So what are they gonna do? Have Strowman beat up 2 Saturday Night Live guys at WrestleMania? I hope not. So I don't know where that's gonna go. The revival, and here's another thing that makes no sense to me, okay? We're giving Ricochet and Aleister Black, which I do believe they are done with NXT. I saw a video of that over the weekend. But we're giving them a title shot after they beat the Revival one time. I know they talked about it in the back before they came out. And I know they've been appearing on both shows. But, dude, I really thought they were actually going to win tonight. Because I even sat there at one point thinking to myself, why the fuck are the Revival the champions again? And they didn't even get an entrance. They got a jobber's entrance coming out there when they were already in the ring. But they're the tag team champions, and the champions come out first for some odd reason. But hey, Ricochet and Aleister Black got to make their grand entrance, where they pretty much were dominating the entire match until Gable and Rude came out and beat up the Revival, which I guess they're heels now, I guess, since, Black and Ricochet took them out after that. But, dude, I even sat there saying to myself, why are the Revival the champions again? Hey, AEW, that's why they're the champions again, okay, people? But why was this tag match announced tonight without literally no type of bill? Like, hey, they beat them 2 weeks ago on Raw. Let's can them title shots, folks. Let's just give them a title shot for the fuck of it. And let's kill the Revival in the process also. Why are they the champions? I got no fucking clue. But they're the champions, and they are still continued like jobbers. They have not won one match ever since they won the titles. They either jobbed out to the NXT guys, and they look like shit, okay? That's what they're making them look like. They make them look like shit, okay? I even question why the Revival is still here. But hey, they put the belts on them, so there you go. Stephanie McMahon came out with the title as she was about to announce the match for Charlotte and Becky at Fastlane, and they played the footage from last week with Ronda laying down the championship and, telling Becky to sign the paperwork since she was still on, her bad leg. And, I'm going to get to the, bad leg and everything. And pretty much they signed it, even though Becky said, I won the Royal Rumble, so I don't even know why I have to do this again and beat Charlotte again, which really makes sense. And she has to sign this whole harmless agreement. But, Ronda came out then and was pissed. She wanted her championship back. What are you doing? That you gave me, and Stephanie said, you gave me no choice, and I had to vacate the title. So I didn't tell you to vacate anything. Give me my championship, and she gave her the belt back. You're just doing this. You just want money in your pocket for these 2 fragile women right here. And she called both Becky and Charlotte fragile. And this is where Ronda's promo, and this is a really good promo by Ronda. I've said it before that Ronda rushes her promos. I feel like trying to memorize every word, but it didn't sound bad all the way. Even like I said, she just rushes it too fast. And Riley says pretty much you just gonna put your wallet over your pride and everything, and you think you do everything you want, and call them both, like I said, she called Charlotte and Becky frail, and that you don't respect this business. And Riley said, I did everything to respect this business, okay? But I poured my heart into this. But she blamed the fans for booing her, blamed Philly for booing her at the Staples Center in LA, which that doesn't make a lot of sense. You blame Philly for this, or the fans in general, and that you booed me in my hometown, and she was sick of it. And I could break both of these 2 up if I sneezed in a direction, which she is right. He says, I've been a dancing monkey, but not anymore. Damn your fantasies, damn the man, screw the woo, and no one is nice bitch. And pretty much kicked the shit out of Charlotte and started beating up Becky. Which, if you go back over the past few days, if you look at their little Twitter war with but between Becky and Ronda, and Becky was talking a lot of shit on that, folks. And I see WWE get mad at that because they think they worked this into a shoot, and they think Ronda got legitimately, I believe Ronda was legitimately pissed, some say on Twitter. But Rousey was laying some stiff ass shots on Becky. She beat the fuck out of her, okay? And hey, she did say she was going to beat the shit out of you. Go back and look at her Twitter. So, hey, Becky got caught slipping. Becky was running her mouth a lot. So, there you go. And pretty much, she starts beating up Becky and put her in the armbar several times. Charlotte was going to come back in, but Rousey pretty much kind of, was coming at her, and Charlotte backed off. And as Rousey still punching the hell out of Becky and putting her in the armbar, Charlotte just kind of looked on like, you know what? I'm just going to do this. I'm going to wait till Fastlane. I'll pick the rest of the bones. This ain't my fight. I'm going to let y'all handle this. So there you go. And as Rousey pretty much stepped over Becky, stepping on her face and everything, and, just holding the title up. They pretty much went to Stephanie McMahon at the last part of the show saying, like, Ronda, look what she's done, huh? This animal has been unleashed. And, she feels bad for Becky if she's even going to make it this Sunday. Because here's the thing now. Instead of for the championship, if Becky does not win this match this Sunday, she will not be added into the triple threat match between Charlotte and Ronda, which I still find it odd that she won the Royal Rumble, but it doesn't really mean anything now that she has to wrestle again just to be in the triple threat match, even though she won the Rumble. But pretty much, Stephanie said, I don't know what's gonna happen now or anything, but it's either gonna be one or two, a singles match or a triple threat, which will be a triple threat in general, because we all know Becky's gonna win this Sunday, and it'll be a triple threat match at WrestleMania. And then of course they show Ronda at the end pointing at the WrestleMania sign, which you actually hear a producer in the background telling Ronda, hold the title up, which I'm sure that'll be on Botchamania, but you can hear someone in the background saying that part, like, hold the title up at the end. But, I know this whole angle with all three of these women has just been going back and forth and kind of odd in some points of what they changes. So I guess Ronda Rousey is a heel now. I guess they just decided, like, hey, let's turn this girl heel, even though they should have done it long ago, because at least her promo was really good there. So now I guess we have two heels now that are Charlotte and Ronda. I guess both of them are heels, even though I thought Becky was the heel to begin with, and I thought damn all three of these women were heel, even though they forced it upon things in there. So yeah, but we still got another month till WrestleMania, which I feel like they haven't built up WrestleMania that well in general. But now looking at this with Ronda being heel and Charlotte being heel, I guess Becky being face, which pretty much tells you that Becky's gonna win the title at WrestleMania. I know some people are already comparing this now to Orton, Batista, and Bryan in WrestleMania a few years ago at 30, or it could be the one with Benoit, Triple H, and Shawn at WrestleMania 20. I know some people are comparing it to that. Listen, heel Ronda is better. Her promo was good. Like I said, she tried to rush it out, but it was still a really good promo. And she caught Becky slipping and kicked the shit out of her, which I guess is supposed to be building sympathy for Becky right now with her getting her shit kicked in. But I can tell you right now with Charlotte, going against Becky this Sunday, it'll be a triple threat match. It'll happen at WrestleMania, and I'm sure Becky's going to win, since it's almost like, two heels and one face now when you look at it, because before it was two faces and one heel. But since Ronda was, I guess, now tired of being booed by the fans and booed out her hometown at the Staples Center, it's time to pull the trigger and, hey, turn it heel. The fans have turned on her, so now she must turn on them herself. But the only things I can really say that was good from Raw tonight was this ending segment, even though they kind of switched around a couple times. But between the ending segment and Triple H promo, that was literally the best things of this show, okay? That's what I can really tell you. Everything else was just kind of like, why was this needed? Heavy Machinery in a gauntlet match? Who gives a shit? Grandpa Simpson, Lacey Evans? Who gives a shit? The Shield reforming for God knows the 5th, 6th, 1 millionth time? I don't really care, but I guess I understand why, since Dean is on his way out the door. I'm just surprised to see Roman is already back in the ring already, but like I say, he's in remission, and I guess he can still go. But for everything else, I don't really need to see Strowman and Corbin and Finn and them team up and Kurt Angle team together again against the Corbin Coalition, even though they killed Leo Rush in the process, or, just this Shield versus Corbin and everybody in general. But, it's going to be leading to something till WrestleMania, because they were really hyping that up throughout the whole night, if the Shield was going to reform with each other and be a group again. What else? I'm trying to remember what else they had. The tag matches, whatever. I guess Rude and Gable are here, and I guess they're going against Black and Ricochet now, since that's a feud. But then again, it's almost like, why did they even have a title match to begin with? And like I said, the Revival, why? They beat them one time and they get a title shot? Okay. And they still job the Revival out like they're fucking shit. So there you go. I didn't really care for Michael Shea and Colin Nair, which I didn't understand they got that much TV time throughout the night too. So I was actually didn't think that was gonna happen. Is there anything else I need to talk from Raw? Because other than the Triple H promo and the whole Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte segment, that was like the really good, really good things on Raw. Everything else was still pretty bad. Same old shit as usual. And, paint by numbers. Let's put the Shield back together again. So that's what I can tell you about that. Anything else other than this from, other than Raw tonight? I've already said my thoughts on the, what I guess the alleged whole why Arn Anderson was fired from the company, and the whole Torrie Wilson going in the Hall of Fame thing. I said my part on that. Like I said, just a quick bullet point of the history. Like I said, WCW, WWE, Playboy, Sable, Dawn Marie had some somewhat good matches on SmackDown, since she was part of SmackDown. What did they say? Most downloaded woman. Never won a championship though. But I guess longevity and Hall of Fame, and she's hot, so that's why. And she still looks good, but that's what I've had to say about the whole Torrie Wilson thing. That's just a quick bullet point. But then again, they could have put any other woman in there. But like I said, at this point, they just put anybody in the Hall of Fame, and no one takes this shit seriously. Other than that, I've already said my condolences. Rest in peace, Luke Perry, and everything. So that's my Monday Night Raw review for tonight. Tell me what you thought about this show. This was, I don't know, Raw just feels like marathons to me at this point. It feels like a marathon. You got to survive the whole 3 hours just to get through the show. Just to get through. But overall, this show was still pretty bad. Out of the two things I just named already, this show was just this shit. It's still bad. Okay, will SmackDown be better? I don't know, but we shall see. Okay, we shall see. But that's my thoughts on this show. I'm out of here. Peace. Comment, subscribe. Tell me what you thought about Monday Night Raw tonight. Follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. I'm out of here. See you guys later. Peace out.